It's Wednesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Tokwe Mark Odige, and as usual, I have the ladies, my co-host. I'm loving this set. I've not seen YK. I think this week. This is my first time seeing you. Nima, I saw you on Monday. I don't see you finish already, but
I said, this is finished, not be here.
But I'm so happy to see every one of you. YK, you're looking pretty. Love your beads.
Good morning. Good morning. The celebration will start on Thursday. We start tomorrow. The art competition, which is at the Kalakuta Museum, and is free. So please come and see art. The art of a lot of Nigerians. Beautiful. They always bring their A game, and it's very, very nice. And then on Saturday we have the dance competition, free again. We have 37. This year we have 37. I think because the prize money is rich, you know.
Yes,
it's like 1 million for the first prize.
Wow.
Yeah.
We dance.
I'm needing money, right?
the school's debates that
Sweat for them.
Come in now. These people, do you know what they do?
They're loaded.
Professionals.
They bring to come and collect 1 million. If not me, I take my head spray.
So we've been judging at the school's debate for years, and every year the gifts improves. So last year, every child got a computer, a laptop, and everything. It's huge. And they will still get their music set and all of that for the school. So YK, well done, really.
Well done.
Thank you.
YK, you haven't spoken enough about the Fela movie on Netflix.
Which one is that?
That's
Is it the Formula
no, the Fela
Let's
on Netflix.
I've not seen it.
As in,
I
why
saw
you?
it many years ago.
Oh, it's an
Okay, it
old
just came
one.
on Netflix now.
Yeah, it just came on next.
We have to see it.
You
I
have to
can't
see
even
it.
remember what it's about.
Please, you need to watch
have
it.
to see it.
You know, it just makes you think about your life and the meaning that you've given your life
important
again
for our
and
history.
again. Well,
I want to shout out to...
yes.
I'm just opening birthday messages. Really.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yes, and I'm very sorry for all those who reached out on WhatsApp. And I stumbled on this message from a 12-year-old birthday mate. My heart melted.
oh.
She talked about, and we will meet. Zohira will meet you by the grace of Allah. Bello Zohira Adeleye. I'm looking forward to seeing her. And I'm also birthday mate with Mama Brown. No. It was until Mr. Brown insisted when they sent message and I did not open that. Hello, hello. And then he prayed for me also. So I'll get there. I'll reply all of them eventually.
Yeah, but the messages can be overwhelming.
Yeah,
How
so
you doing, Bisi?
I'm still selling my hairs, I'm selling my clothes, I'm selling my Body by BC
Marketing.
products. Prices are going so high right now, and I'm torn in between, trying to, should I update my prices or should I just sell at these prices? And I know that when I go back to restock, I won't be getting it at those prices. So it's just my conscience now telling me, should I increase these prices
it's not a conscience
to save
matter.
my business, or should I just
Yeah,
speak to my customers and sell
I've done review
at the price,
on
and
2
then
locations, and I'm going to do review on the rest because the
anyway,
cost
Sha,
of things.
buy the market. We're still selling at the regular price. I'm still thinking and deciding whether I have
Buy
to.
now.
Public
buy
announcement.
now, that's
Anything you
it.
want to buy, just buy.
Please buy now.
Every time you delay, the prices change.
Go up,
I was going to buy a motorcycle, and
For what?
I waited
For your business.
my business, moving from one estate to the other by
You will be
my
riding
staff.
Staff.
You'll be riding it.
No, not me. My staff that lives in Ekpe has to go to 4.
But you look like you can ride now.
I
This
would
your
love
outfit.
to
Buy me
swag
Korokwe
it.
buses.
No Korokwe. Bike can go through when there's rain, the road is bad. There was a 200,000 naira difference in just because I delayed for like 6 weeks. Let me just look at the price, look at the price, look at the price.
Everything
My
is
darling,
going up.
Anything you want to buy,
Buy now, please.
Don't push, no procrastination.
Come and buy now.
You know,
Buy
my is
now.
getting married. I've started to buy the drinks down because they say they're going up.
Yeah.
Better for you.
Let's do. You know, we know you have stories. We know you have experiences. We love sharing our own experiences. You learn from hearing us gist about those ones that trend online. But some of your personal stories have so many advantage for people to learn from. Stories that would inspire, or in some cases, stories that you want us to help you resolve and give you options. Please send those stories to us. Send your mind-boggling experiences and life story to us at yourview@tvccommunications.tv. The communications come with S. If you don't put the S there, we don't receive your mail. If you also want to reach out to your view, that's the way to reach out to us. This is on your screen right now. So munch it, keep it for the day you need it. Stay with us. When we return, we'll go through the front pages of the paper.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. We're starting front page review with The Nation. Major headline: Our President, Tinubu, at UNGA, UN General Assembly. Nigeria welcomes true partnership. President addresses world leaders. And in other news, we have the TUC and NLC differ on modalities for planned strike. Obaseki, Shaibu exchange brickbats over lockout. Our silence, not cowardice, or your monarchs tell Obasanjo. 71 exit NNPCL in gale of retirement at oil giant. Atiku, Obi, file 86 grounds at Supreme Court. Appellant, Presidential Election Court erred in law. And the key other stories, government targets 20,000 megawatts in 3 years. Airline trapped funds now at $738 million. What story are we starting with?
Okay, so I wanted to take the national grid collapse in the nation. This report is scaring my yachts. So from our 3,000 plus megawatts, 3,500 plus megawatts that we had last week, we went straight down to at midnight to 42 megawatts. And even Delta Power Plant that had some megawatts was 41 megawatts. Lagos, of course, suffered. I was on a co-electricity page, and they said in the evening that they had come back and they were going to bring power. I didn't trust it, but we had light till daybreak. And this is the third in less than a month. Continuously, we're having this grid collapse where the Transmission Company of Nigeria refused to release any statement for us to be sure exactly what is happening. But it seems like, because the whole of last year, before I went on a break, we talked about the grid collapses so much. I remember taking them. This is an area, before we get to where we are at the refineries, let's start to think of the investments that we will use to meet the power generation. If the existing generation plants are not as capable that they will be collapsing 3 times in less than 1 month, let's think of, building now. Because I know they will say there's no money. If we are going to take a loan to build it, let's quickly take the loan now and invest and prepare for where we are now in the petroleum sector, where we cannot refine at all. We could not take advantage of crude oil increase. We are always suffering from the drop in increase in price and all of that.
And transmission relies with the
we
government.
need to do that.
Yeah, that's
so
something
important.
we should be open to.
Yeah, I have another story. NLC said the division between the labor unions over the planned indefinite strike widened yesterday. So the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress leaders clashed on live television program over the modalities of their action. Yes, they've been disagreeing, and they said it was triggered by a claim attributed to the NLC president, Joe Ajero, that the TUC could not back out of a strike without giving notice. Now, we know that they gave the 21-day notice that by NLC to federal government to call his members out, on an indefinite strike, and that is going to be expiring tomorrow. There was also the 2-day warning strike by the NLC, which happened September 5th to 6th, and it was boycotted by the TUC. And according to their president, Festus Osifo, he said there was no basis for such action when the federal government and Labour were still in talks. But the NLC president, Ajero, yesterday said that you can see that they were able to successfully carry out the warning strike. They can work independently. They can also work together if they choose to agree. But, the disagreement is whether we go on this strike or whether we should put the interests of the people forward. It seemed like the federal government has broken the ranks by, splitting into two. There's TUC, there's NLC, and once they don't agree, we may not be able to get anything meaningful out of it.
We'll take a quick break. When we return, we continue with Front Page Review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. Planning your financial future is a fundamental step towards achieving your dreams and securing your well-being. I love talking about money. Just like learning the alphabet is a foundation for reading and writing, understanding the ABCs of investing is essential for financial literacy. So today, we will delve into the intricacies of investing, things that we should look out for when considering investment. And joining us today is FBN Quest Asset Management. Is the Vice President, Affluent, Emmanuel Echeme. So I was wondering if, because, you know, we have different names. Emmanuel Echeme, welcome to the show. Good to have you.
Thanks for having me.
I'm looking forward to this conversation. I love talking about money. I love talking about how to grow my money. So from your perspective, what is investment and what role does it play in the financial sector?
Okay, thank you very much. So investment is that deliberate act of spotting opportunities and committing your resources. And in this case, we are talking of financial resources. So committing your financial resources to financial asset with the aim of generating returns in the form of capital gains or income. So basically, that is what investing is. And it plays a very important role in the financial sector generally. I mean, investing aids growth and development. The reason why the capital market exists in the first place is basically because of investing. So the capital market is a place where buyers and sellers of financial assets meet, you know, to sell their product in form of stocks, bonds, currencies, and the likes. So corporates go to the capital market to raise funds to finance their project, their programs. Also, the government goes there also to raise funds to finance budget. So for people who provide these funds to the users of the funds, they pay a premium in the form of interest, coupons, in one form or the other. And that is the benefit for those people who lend their monies to the users of money. So investing plays a very pivotal role in the financial system.
Awesome.
Okay. So what should people invest and how does it empower their financial future?
Okay, so investing is actually an aspect of financial planning. It's an aspect of planning. And you know what they say about planning? If you fail to plan, you already plan to fail. I think it was Warren Buffett that said, and I'm paraphrasing now, that if your money can't work for you while you sleep, then you will work for your money till you die. I mean, we all have laudable objectives that we want to achieve in life. I don't want to be a liability when I grow old. I want to live in the best houses. I want my children to go to very good schools. I want to drive that dream car. I want to be able to go on vacation when I want to. So how will all of this come? It won't happen if it remains in the realm of wishes. Because if wishes were horses, beggars will ride. Right. So I have to take that deliberate step to make sure that I commit my resources to investing opportunities in the market and make sure that my money is working for me. Sure. And it doesn't matter how small I start. And I'm saying this to everyone. It doesn't matter how, what your level is today. Start from where you are today. The next best time, if you had not been investing, to invest is now. So start from wherever you are. And at FBN Quest, we don't discriminate. We have clientele cutting across every segment of, every strata in terms of whether you are high net worth or whether you are low income earner. We have investment solutions for you. So start from where you are. And if you are investing, you are not sure what you're doing, speak to us at FBN Quest. We will be able to profile you and put you in the right investment bucket that we think will suit you and meet your investment objectives.
So having said that, what are the different types of investments and how can people know which is best for them?
Okay, so there are different types of investments. There are investments that carry high risk. There are investments that are medium risk and low risk. There are investments that are short term, there are investments that are medium term, and there are investments that are long term. So you need to understand your investor profile to know which one suits you. And that's why we are saying talk to us. When you come to us at FBN Quest, we profile you. We understand your investor profile. We understand your risk profile. We know your objective of investing, and we're able to put you in the right investment solution that will help you meet your financial needs.
Nima.
Okay, I heard him talk about capital market, so I'm wondering, is investing in mutual funds the same thing as investing in stock markets or shares?
Okay, so mutual funds are collective investment scheme you know, that are managed by professional fund managers. The good thing with mutual fund is that it can be structured from any segment of the capital market, whether the fixed income space or even the equity space. So we have equity-based mutual funds. Mutual funds that invest in equity are equity-based mutual funds. And so you can invest in equities through a mutual fund. You can also invest in equities directly. At FBN Quest, we have a mutual fund, the Smart Beta Equity Fund, that has returned, I mean, a total of about 52.3% year to date. And I heard you talking, I mean, while I was listening at the lobby, you were talking about inflation and the need for people to buy what they want to buy on time. So this is the kind of investment that beats inflation, quite frankly. But of course, you would earn this kind of returns if you had stayed with us from the beginning of the year. So year to date, it has returned 52.3, and inflation, I think, is about 25.8% currently.
Wow, okay. So I wanted to ask, what does the FBN Quest Asset Management, what role do you play in helping people to get involved? What do you offer investors now? And how can somebody get started? Somebody has watched you and is feeling like, okay, maybe this is a vehicle I can use to grow my wealth. So how can they go ahead with using FBN Quest Asset Management?
So we can be contacted. We can be contacted via all our channels. I mean, you can reach us on all of the social media. We are on all the social media platforms. And our handle on social media is at FBN Quest, at FBN Quest. And you can also, I mean, check our website, www.beyondtoday.fbnquest.com. And you can also call us on our numbers as are displayed on the screen. We have two numbers there, 081-3372-6661 or 080-3922-3371. Our professionals, our colleagues will be waiting to receive your calls, and as soon as you call, someone will speak to you, and we can have appointments to further the conversation on how we can onboard you and make you a customer for you to begin to enjoy the benefits of investing with FBN Quest.
Thank you so much for coming on the show today, educating. Everybody needs to learn about money, and I teach it on Mondays. We talk about it here on the show on Wednesdays. I don't like, money loves me more.
Thank you.
And I think that's much more important. Yeah. However, we need to plan. I love your quote, and I think if people did not hear it, we should repeat it again, because we don't want to work till we die. So we need to make sure we find a way to make our money work for us. So thank you once again, Mr. Emmanuel Ocheme. And we'll hope to see more of you, maybe other perspectives of how to invest. Stay with us. We still have a whole lot for you on the show. And if you missed out on what the numbers, it's still right on the screen right now. They'll put it back on the screen so you can munch it and reach out to them. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll continue with the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. So on Hot Topic today, the story we're talking about has my heart beating. It's a really sad story about a young boy whose intestine was cut out. He got a visit from the governor, and we're talking about we the people perspective. There was another video that surfaced about a man that is in Plateau State. This doctor runs a hospital where they said he offered cheap services to many people in Jos, and a lot of people go there only to find out that he's been harvesting organs of people illegally. How do we deal with the fact that Nigeria is shifting towards a place where the end justifies the means. Any taking advantage of the vulnerable, taking advantage of people that we know might not be informed, and lording our space, our authority over people negatively. We're going to be discussing it. We'd like you to join the conversation by calling us on 081 076 41679, or you can call us on 090 241 63440. Now, we're going to be taking different perspective. What can the government do to strengthen the institution that protects the average citizens of Nigeria? How do we reduce cases of illegal organ harvesting? Who should we talk to when we find this kind of situation has happened? How do we get justice for them? How do we strengthen the civil society to clamor for justice for them? There are different angles. But YK, when you heard the story about the boy whose intestine was removed, what was your first response?
My first reaction, to be very honest, was horror. Because last week I had read about this lady in Plateau State who complained of, her doctor said she had appendicitis.
Yeah,
and took her in for a 1-hour operation. They were there for 7 hours. After she came out of hospital, she started falling ill. Every time she goes, they will give her painkillers.
Yeah.
But the pain did not go. So she went to another doctor. And that one found her kidney. That one had to ask her, did you have any operation? She said, no. You have only one kidney. So apparently that guy had taken out her kidney to harvest. You know, it's horrible. These are horror stories.
Exactly.
For money, you will remove the life of not even fast, slow, painful death. Slow, painful death. Where are our values? And you know what he said? That doctor, I don't know about this, because this one, they haven't even found out who removed his intestine. He said it was the work of the devil.
But he was profiting from the work of the devil.
Even the devil self go.
Don't tire.
Why now? Why?
The devil self will shock.
So this young boy, Akin-Bright, his mom had done a video where she called on the, Governor Sanwo-Olu to come to her aid. And at the time, I even thought, because the way the video sounded was that it happened at LASUTH. It was later on it became open. I'm trying to get the name of the hospital. He initially was admitted at before he was moved to LASUTH. And I think in between he was also moved back. But the governor responded immediately. He visited, he committed to his treatment. The House of Assembly visited him like last week. And then this morning, the poor boy died. Very young life that could have, you know, been anybody in this world.
He could solve.
You don't know the solution to the world's problem that boy has been created to solve, but in your wickedness, that devil minding his own business, you say tissue to sell his organs, because they took his small intestine was reported to have been missing. And what I would like is a proper investigation of all the facilities.
All the hospitals.
He was hospital facilities, even the lab where they take blood self, you should investigate it. Everywhere he has ever been, because this was why Uni Umoren was killed in Akwa Ibom. This has been happening in different ways. The one YK said, when we took the story, I was still on the break. I remember in my house thinking, how is this possible? That you have
hospital,
and you went to a vulnerable community where you will be giving them free healthcare, just harvesting. A simple appendicitis that takes maybe an hour, pata, you will do for 8 hours.
So even find out that the man read economics. That man is not a medical doctor. He read economics.
You see him? He just learned how to butcher.
He read economics, yeah. And took on fake license to be practicing and deceiving people. It's here. I personally feel that there are some things that we need to put our foot on. I see countries who have been able to make changes, and I see how they use terror and fear to hold the people down from committing this sort of crimes. And I think that's the best way, because after investigation is good, at least, so that you don't punish the wrong person for the crime. But when that person is finally caught, kill him, buy him, take that person out. Let people know that if you are caught in this kind of crime where you are taking another life for greed or whatever you want to profit, you are going. So they will decide to, if they want to continue on that business, hoping that they will not be caught, and the day they are caught, and that's it. That's the only way, because these people have, it usually works like a syndicate. They have people who are learning from them. They have young people who are understudying them, who will be planning on taking up the business, you know, set themselves up in using other people to profiteer, killing people to profit. And we do the thing, we send them, maybe they are found guilty, you send them to jail, they do 5 years, 10 years, maybe a government comes one day and decides to, you know, set people free, or there's a jailbreak and these people escape. We cannot give them that escape. This is wickedness to humanity, and it must be handled the same way. And if we really want this to stop, that's the only way to go. It's not everything that democracy will work for. It's not everything that would have to sit down at a table and negotiate. There are some crimes against humanity that you must follow the same way. That's just my own judgment on the matter. And we all need to be careful. We all need to seek, there are certain things I go to the hospital for, and I always seek a second opinion. But can everybody afford to seek that second opinion? Some of these people are just, you know, barely trying to make ends meet. They will go to this hospital that is trusted. If you go to those local areas, you see those small mushroom clinics that the women trust, everybody trusts, the villagers trust. They just go there to help themselves, and you sit down and you do this to a fellow human being, and you say we should have conversations and negotiations and send you to jail. No, you deserve more than jail.
These sort of things would even discourage people. I know someone who, when she's sick,
she won't go to
no
the hospital.
paracetamol. She doesn't take it. She doesn't use any oyibo anything. She will wait it out with her water. The worst case, she will cook her agbo. She said she will face that way. And her parents live for long, and she's so healthy at her age, over 60, you would not even know her age.
Let's talk about preying on the vulnerable.
Because of things like this, when they hear it, they'll be like, God forbid. Someone said to me once, is it not gas that burned somebody's son? I can never use gas in my house. In that house, when we visited that old woman when I was a young girl, everybody was forced to use charcoal pots, not even stove, because of her fear. So we should think of, you know, how this would discourage people. This is why some women will say, let me have my child at home. I'd rather, you know, not even considering that there are other risks that may happen.
Yeah.
We must make deterrence through, you know, punishment. And it's not just killing. Let's investigate properly.
Yes.
Exhaust, you know, the time of that the law has granted a person, and be certain. But when that person is found
guilty,
let the punishment be so strong, it will discourage other people.
For some are very obvious. For some, it's very obvious. The Plateau State story, the woman went in, she's having stomach pain. You said you were going to do a surgery called to remove the appendicitis. You removed her kidney.
Stayed 8 hours.
That one is very clear, without her permission. So we have a law in Nigeria supporting organ donation. You can donate your organ in Nigeria. You just need to be 21 years. You need to be above 21, and you need to give permission. That's all. So we have that law. So organ donation should be encouraged, because obviously there's a market for organs. That's the thing, because whenever I did a course a few years back on conflict resolution and mediation, and they said whenever you want to resolve an issue, you need to find what's benefiting the issue, what are the causes, so that you don't try to cure the effects. The effect we're seeing is criminality of organ harvesting. But when we find what's the problem, there's a market for organs, organ donation, organ markets. So we need to create a system of organ donation. And maybe when people die, when people die, people should be able to donate, like upon death, organ is donated. We don't have that system. I watched the movie where they say once you die, my organ can be harvested as and given free.
People
maybe we need to
give their
encourage
bodies
that
for
system.
studying. Let it be documented. Why is our former senator in the prison in the UK?
Ekweremadu story is exactly
failure to document. So organ harvesting, organ donation might be legal. Organ harvesting is still a crime, and there's a thin line. That thin line is my brother, I want to help me, so don't sign. He will now carry him and cross. If in Nigeria, is my neighbor wanted to do appendicitis, when I reached there, I saw it was her kidney. Uncle, abort mission.
Yes, so
don't continue. Close up, oh.
Close that up.
We have a caller. Ayodele has called in. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ayodele.
Yes, good morning. How are you today?
What do you think?
What you are discussing today, this organ harvester. against humanity.
Yeah.
It is purely against humanity. And a lot of them are not even being used upon humanity. All these things come down to we don't have a proper recording of supervision. You can imagine an economist becoming a doctor, harvesting people's organs. If there are been a way of checks and balances, in Nigeria, we don't have a follow-up, we don't have a supervision, we don't see where we can check ourselves and know what is going on. A lot of people, a lot of our what do I call it, ministry or all this, it may return somebody an errand, no follow-up, no supervision. So we don't actually know what is happening again. So that is why a lot of people fear to go to government hospital or this. That's why they follow private hospitals. And there now they have a lot of situations.
Thank you, Ayodele. Preying on the vulnerable. This is not carried out by trained doctors. So, because I said earlier that all the medical doctors have taken this, what they call it, Hippocratic
Hippocratic.
Yes,
Hippocratic oath.
the oath they take. This oath they take prevents them from causing harm to any patient or any human being. But these people, the one in Plateau was not done by a medical doctor. Is a quack. Is a quack. And it was carrying out surgeries. Many of this stuff are not carried out by professional doctors, but we're preying on the vulnerable. What that means is we know these people cannot afford to go to an expensive hospital. They are not educated or learned. And so in taking advantage of them, you know, if you say, this is what I want to do for you, they cannot go to the lab to go and verify or to read if this is what the test actually shows, and then you carry out something different on them. We also know that there was a case of baby factories where people were being kept to produce babies for other people.
There's also the attitude of medical practitioners when they don't want to explain. So I went to a particular lab to have a procedure done. And I'd gotten that referral from a doctor friend who said, this is the best in the field. And when I got there, it wasn't covered by any of my plans. So I said, okay, I will pay out of pocket for this procedure. The person gave me an attitude that I regretted why I paid.
Wow.
My doctor, Dr. Adebola, will sit you through before any procedure and explain. In fact, sometimes just to get bored that, do the thing I've already experienced before. He will still be breaking it down. The role of your self, the role how it will affect your life, your family, your well-being, everything detailed. And it was the
must
rare
encourage that.
to see. Even though we are in a hurry in our public hospitals, can we also insist that's the standard? Let people understand exactly what you're doing for them and let them be clear before they sign or commit to anything. Now,
we're talking about those that are
the
educated.
hospital suspected for this. It's a private hospital called Obitoks Medical Centre in Alimosho area, carried by Punch. And the government can do something for this boy. Because now there's an hashtag
they find out that that's where
he did a surgery there before he was referred to LASUTH. The mom's video said it happened at LASUTH. LASUTH denied. So every investigation
needs to be done fast.
as fast as possible.
Let's take a call. Amina's called in from Jos. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Now, I have Tope, I have Nima, I have Obialiju and Whitey on the show. As regards what is happening in Jos, I'm a medical personnel that is supposed to start a job in this same hospital, but I noticed that there's always dead people. Every day, there's virtually no day you don't account for dead in that hospital.
Deaths, yeah. People are dying.
That was why I had to hold on. My husband and I had to hold on that let me not start my job yet there. Now, do you know as I'm talking to you now, there's no arrest so far that has been made?
No.
Only questioning. And this so-called doctor is supposed to be, is assumed to be, or how will I put it now, is a pastor. He's also a pastor in the Redeemed Church.
This economics.
Yes.
Well, Amina, I need to put it out. The Punch carried information 9 hours ago that the police command in Plateau has arrested 2 other medical personnel involved in organ harvesting by the quack.
This morning, yes, I have that news. Do you know we have 7 other people from from this same hospital that went for scanning and their organs are missing.
Yes.
Oh.
So what we're hoping is, because you mentioned that they haven't arrested anybody, I needed to also ensure that we're able to inform people that the arrest has taken place. Arrest is not all we want. We want justice. We want judgment. We want prosecution
we truly
to
want
the end.
justice. Concerning this woman's case, we want justice. This woman has been going back and forth, back and forth. This idiot has been giving her pain relief.
So sorry, Amina, thank you so much for calling on the show. I'm happy that you had the sensitivity to step out. But let's talk about other nurses and doctors who work there, who are qualified nurses, who are seeing things, but are now looking away and saying, I don't know how to speak concerning this.
You see, something evil like that, criminal, not even evil, because not everything evil is criminal, happening. And you walk there, and you say you did not see anything.
You're comfortable.
You did not say anything.
Because you need to earn money.
You are
Let's take a
aided
break.
and
When we come back,
abetted.
I'll come to YK. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing the issue of organ harvesting in Nigeria, the cases of the late young boy who lost his life, where his small intestine was taken out, and the case of what happened in Jos, where obviously we know that a lady went for a surgery called appendicitis, and in actual fact, what happened was her kidney was taken out. Organ harvesting. How do we solve the problem? How do we get the government to solve the problem? How do we get we people to step up? Before we went on a break, we got a call from Amina. Amina was saying that she was supposed to take a job in that hospital, but she realized that there were reports of daily deaths.
Become an abattoir.
It had become an abattoir of human beings. There were daily deaths, and her husband was saying, this is not the place you should go and work. And I asked the question, there are other medical practitioners who are working in that hospital. What should they have done? YK?
I wanted to take this tweet from Yasmin Maman before I say anything. My cousin's 2-year-old son has been sick and upside down since a hernia surgery in the same jaws. He can't walk nor talk. Very, very sick. Screams a lot at night. I recently asked him to do a scan ASAP. So that this poor child seems to be a victim.
Ew.
Do you know how many people that this hospital, I hope that they have closed it down.
Obviously, they've closed down.
That's the first step. Yeah. Then look for all the patients because, and then I believe that the government should take responsibility.
Yeah, for this.
Because this kind of hospitals cannot be practicing in your
before.
States.
So that's another angle.
Yes. And let me finish. And nothing is done about it.
We have Hassan.
Okay. You have a call?
Hassan, yes. Hassan has called from Lekki.
Take the call. I will continue.
Yes.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Hassan. Welcome to the show.
What happened in Plateau is something that will call for empathy. But unfortunately, this country we lack empathy. And even the government looked the other way around. Because I see no reason why a quack doctor should be operating unhindered for many years without people responsible catching up with him. What is the job of Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria? What is the job of people, even the law enforcement agents in our society? Look, we are getting away with a lot of things because we are lawless in this country. We don't care. Even what happened to a ceremony, it was because the English people are empathetic people. That is why you are seeing that. That is why you are seeing that Ekweremadu is facing the music over there. Had it been, if it was here in Nigeria, we could have been working freely in our society. And even our sons will stand by him to defend him to any level. So it boils down to the government.
Thank you, Hassan. YK, you can continue.
Yes, so I think that the government has to take responsibility for all these patients because it happened in their state. and they are not monitoring. You don't just allow people to open private hospitals.
Popular hospital.
Not,
the hospital is popular.
And not regulate.
You know,
go there and check continuously.
People are dying.
My family, we have suffered from this healthcare. When Nima was talking about her friend that doesn't go to hospital, I resonated with her because I'm sick. You see me, I will lie on my bed. But by the time I lie down, I will get better. Yeah. I don't go. I try it has to be very serious, like toothache, before you see me where there is any doctor. Because I don't trust them anymore. My brother, his daughter, they
did the surgery.
A private hospital. They said they must do surgery on that poor girl. Now today, her leg is even worse than when she went into hospital. Nobody is taking responsibility for it.
You take them to court, YK.
So
that's how they created the system.
Which court? The money you spend on your hospital. Please, they will just chop your money. You will spend 10 years in court.
So first of all, that doctor, especially the one in Jos, did not work alone. There's no way you can carry out an operation without having people beside you. You have scrub nurses, you have other people. They were all aware of what was going on. And that is why I'm going to say now that hospital, aside from being closed and the doctor being arrested, every single soul who works there will be taken into custody for questioning. They were all there. And that's also to deter people who aid and abet. Because sometimes we feel, I'm not the one that is doing the evil now. If I see, I can remove my face. Now you know that if you see and you do not say anything, you will be you will be taken as well. Exactly. You are the same person. You are the same thing with the person who is committing the crime. So that place has to be locked up. Those people arrested. Then the government is a shame that you would allow this kind of business flourish. The local government is a shame. We need to find out that local government where that hospital is situated. It's a shame that this will be happening under your nose and you're not aware. There are no checks, there are no regulations, nothing. An economist is constantly making money out of people, killing people and making money out of them, and nobody could sense it till this woman started crying out. It's a shame. The government needs to do better. You raised the question of, letting the doctors explain their procedures, asking, because we are learned people, we can always go and say, please, what is in the syringe? What is this? The vulnerable people, who would explain to them? That's why the government needs to sit up to protect their lives. Because if you don't protect them, nobody can. And that's why these people are taking advantage of these young people, or vulnerable people, poor people who don't have any help.
We have a call. Anthony has called from Delta. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. The team. My name is Anthony. The team is I'm a registered nurse, to be precise. And the problem we are having presently in the court, we will not even say anything yet. If I tell you that a lot of medical personnel are leaving the country, nurses, doctors, and all that. And if you go to the private hospitals, now as I speak with you, most of them are being manned by quacks. I had an experience 6 years ago when my first son was given injection. Instead of a 2-year-old child being given by 2 syringe needle, he was given by 10 syringe and there was a crack in the bone. And I know the doctor. At that time before the GSM came up. So I met the doctor and I told him that I know you are using a quack nurses. And if I have been around, my wife would have not taken my child to that hospital. But as God will have it, as the child was giving us over. The problem we are having is the government. The government is not doing anything to monitor the hospitals. You see private hospitals, you see quacks, and the problem we still have with the country is that many people, they don't go to government hospitals. Government hospitals are always saying,
government hospital is
they are the best.
It's full,
They are the best. You don't see a big
consultation in the next 6 months.
And every other places. But they are not good hospitals.
It's full.
So, government is doing supervision. You know, the people who don't go to the hospital to check their license. You know, they are working their doctors. And you're supposed to renew the license every 3 years. And yet, they don't do that. They don't survive.
Thank you so much, Anthony.
What's the role of the NME in ensuring that anybody not fully licensed and qualified does not practice within the states? What's the role of those, the body for the nurses as well? Why do we have nurses who will say, I just saw the auxiliary, I can open shop, and then you use syringe and needle to remove boil.
So that was it. The boy, he said a 2-year-old boy, the injection should have been the tiny 2 inch, and they used the big one and pierced the boy's bone.
And broke his bone.
The boy,
So quacks, we need to deal with the regulation perspective, and we're out of time. We honestly can't finish this conversation. It's not just brain drain. Brain drain is just one part of it. Brain drain might be compounding it, but the issue number one is we have vulnerable people that are not educated, and they are a majority. They cannot question the certificate on the board. I cannot go into a hospital and see the certificate and know that it's a fake one. So government regulation is extremely important.
And that's what I'm saying.
And we are depending a lot on this mushroom hospitals. We have mushroom schools, we accept them. We have mushroom hospitals, we accept them. We can't continue. We have half-baked education, half-baked healthcare system. We have to round off, sadly.
No regulatory bodies.
We really have to round. We have regulatory bodies. People are collecting salary. Every state has regulatory bodies collecting salaries.
I know.
So we should start holding them accountable.
I'm saying, is the regulatory bodies we should hold accountable now?
Yeah.
These people should not be...
In the meantime, let your relative enter hospital theater with you. Don't go alone. Yeah. We don't allow anybody there. Don't do your surgery, your procedure there.
Will I know they are removing kidney or whether they are
Don't do your procedure. Don't do your procedure.
Will I know? Even me that I'm educated now. Will I know they are removing kidney or they are removing
I say now, even if they want to help you to drink water, I'll carry relative that the eye will open inside.
I'm sadly out of time on this. We have a woman that we love that we need to bring in on the show, and our heart goes out to the family of the young boy. Really goes out to the family, to the poor woman who's having to bury her son based on the fact that the doctor or the medical system did not work. That's all we can take. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll bring in the woman we love.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing the issue of organ harvesting in Nigeria, the cases of the late young boy who lost his life, where his small intestine was taken out, and the case of what happened in Jos, where obviously we know that a lady went for a surgery called appendicitis, and in actual fact, what happened was her kidney was taken out. Organ harvesting. How do we solve the problem? How do we get the government to solve the problem? How do we get we people to step up? Before we went on a break, we got a call from Amina. Amina was saying that she was supposed to take a job in that hospital, but she realized that there were reports of daily deaths.
Become an abattoir.
It had become an abattoir of human beings. There were daily deaths, and her husband was saying, this is not the place you should go and work. And I asked the question, there are other medical practitioners who are working in that hospital. What should they have done? YK?
I wanted to take this tweet from Yasmin Maman before I say anything. My cousin's 2-year-old son has been sick and upside down since a hernia surgery in the same jaws. He can't walk nor talk. Very, very sick. Screams a lot at night. I recently asked him to do a scan ASAP. So that this poor child seems to be a victim.
Ew.
Do you know how many people that this hospital, I hope that they have closed it down.
Obviously, they've closed down.
That's the first step. Yeah. Then look for all the patients because, and then I believe that the government should take responsibility.
Yeah, for this.
Because this kind of hospitals cannot be practicing in your states.
So that's another angle.
Yes. And let me finish. And nothing is done about it.
We have Hassan.
Okay. You have a call?
Hassan, yes. Hassan has called from Lekki.
Take the call. I will continue.
Yes.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Hassan. Welcome to the show.
What happened in Plateau is something that will call for our empathy. But unfortunately, this country we lack empathy. And even the government look the other way around. Because I see no reason why a quack doctor should be operating unhindered for many years without people responsible catching up with him. What is the job of Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria? What is the job of people, even the law enforcement agents in our society? Look, we are getting away with a lot of things because we are lawless in this country. We don't care. Even what happened to a ceremony, it was because the English people are empathetic people. That is why you are seeing that. That is why you are seeing that a ceremony is facing the music over there. Had it been, it was here in Nigeria, people have been working freely in our society. And even our sons will stand by him to defend him to any level. So it boils down to the government.
Thank you, Hassan. YK, you can continue.
Yes, so I think that the government has to take responsibility for all these patients because it happened in their state and they are not monitoring. You don't just allow people to open private hospitals.
Popular hospital.
Not,
the hospital is popular.
And not regulate.
You know,
there and check continuously.
People are dying.
My family, we have suffered from this healthcare. When Nima was talking about her friend that doesn't go to hospital, I resonated with her because I'm sick. You see me, I will lie on my bed. But by the time I lie down, I will get better. Yeah. I don't go. I try it has to be very serious, like toothache, before you see me where there is any doctor. Because I don't trust them anymore. My brother, his daughter, they
did the surgery.
A private hospital. They said they must do surgery on that poor girl. Now today, her leg is even worse than when she went into hospital. Nobody is taking responsibility for it.
You take them to court, YK.
So
that's how they created the system.
Which court? The money you spend on your hospital. Please, they will just chop your money. You will spend 10 years in court.
So first of all, that doctor, especially the one in Jos, did not work alone. There's no way you can carry out an operation without having people beside you. You have scrub nurses, you have other people. They were all aware of what was going on. And that is why I'm going to say now that hospital, aside from being closed and the doctor being arrested, every single soul who works there will be taken into custody for questioning. They were all there. And that's also to deter people who aid and abet. Because sometimes we feel, I'm not the one that is doing the evil now. If I see, I can remove my face. Now you know that if you see and you do not say anything, you will be you will be taken as well. Exactly. You are the same person. You are the same thing with the person who is committing the crime. So that place has to be locked up. Those people arrested. Then the government is a shame that you would allow this kind of business flourish. The local government is a shame. We need to find out that local government where that hospital is situated. It's a shame that this will be happening under your nose and you're not aware. There are no checks, there are no regulations, nothing. An economist is constantly making money out of people, killing people and making money out of them, and nobody could sense it till this woman started crying out. It's a shame. The government needs to do better. You raised the question of, letting the doctors explain their procedures, asking, because we are learned people, we can always go and say, please, what is in the syringe? What is this? The vulnerable people, who would explain to them? That's why the government needs to sit up to protect their lives. Because if you don't protect them, nobody can. And that's why these people are taking advantage of these young people, or vulnerable people, poor people who don't have any help.
We have a call. Anthony has called from Delta. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. The team. My name is Anthony. The team is I'm a registered nurse, to be precise. And the problem we are having presently in the court, we will not even say anything yet. If I tell you that a lot of medical personnel are leaving the country, nurses, doctors, and all that. And if you go to the private hospitals, now as I speak with you, most of them are being manned by quacks. I had an experience 6 years ago when my first son was given injection. Instead of a 2-year-old child being given by 2 syringe needles, he was given by 10 syringe and there was a crack in the bone. And I know the doctor. At that time before the GSM came up. So I met the doctor and I told him that I know you are using a quack nurses. And if I have been around, my wife would have not taken my charge to that hospital. But as God will have it, I've decided of giving us over The problem we are having is the government. The government is not doing anything to monitor the hospitals. You see private hospitals, you see quacks, and the problem we still have with the country is that many people, they don't go to government hospitals. Government hospitals are always saying,
Government hospital is
they are the
full.
best.
It's full,
They are the best. You don't see a
Give you
big signboard
consultation in the next 6 months.
and every other places. They are not good hospitals.
It's full.
So, government is doing supervision. You know, the people who don't go to the hospital to check their license. You know, they are working their doctor. And you're supposed to renew the license every 3 years. And yes, they don't do that. They don't survive.
Thank you so much, Anthony.
What's the role of the NMA in ensuring that anybody not fully licensed and qualified does not practice within the states? What's the role of those, the body for the nurses as well? Why do we have nurses who will say, I just saw the auxiliary, I can open shop, and then you use syringe and needle to remove boil?
So that was it. The boy, he said a 2-year-old boy, the injection should have been 2 inch, and they used the big one and pierced the boy's bone.
And broke his bone.
The boy.
So quacks, we need to deal with the regulation perspective, and we're out of time. We honestly can't finish this conversation. It's not just brain drain. Brain drain is just one part of it. Brain drain might be compounding it, but the issue number one is we have vulnerable people that are not educated, and they are a majority. They cannot question the certificate on the board. I cannot go into a hospital and see the certificate and know that it's a fake one. So government regulation is extremely important.
And that's what I'm saying.
And we are depending a lot on this mushroom hospitals. We have mushroom schools, we accept them. We have mushroom hospitals, we accept them. We can't continue. We have half-baked education, half-baked healthcare system. We have to round off, sadly.
No regulatory bodies.
We really have to round. We have regulatory bodies. People are collecting salary. Every state has regulatory bodies collecting salaries.
I know. I'm
so
not
we should
saying
start holding them accountable.
I'm saying, is the regulatory bodies we should hold accountable now?
Yeah.
These people should not be...
In the meantime, let your relative enter hospital theater with you. Don't go alone.
Yeah.
We don't allow anybody there. Don't do your surgery, your procedure there.
Will I know they are removing kidney or whether they are
Don't do your procedure. Don't do your procedure.
Will I know? Even me that I'm educated now. Will I know they are removing kidney or they are removing...
I say now, even if they want to help you to drink water, I carry relative that the eye will open inside.
I'm sadly out of time on this. We have a woman that we love that we need to bring in on the show, and our heart goes out to the family of the young boy. Really goes out to the family, to the poor woman who's having to bury her son based on the fact that the doctor or the medical system did not work. That's all we can take. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll bring in the woman we love.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Joining us is an author who is passionate about creating visually engaging, culturally relevant content for children. She's a founder of Imemi and has a desire to see steadily increasing literacy rates within her community. She's also the convener of Akada Children's Book Festival and the chairperson of the Association of Children Authors and Illustrators of Nigeria. Welcome with us, a woman that we love, Olubunmi Aboderi Talabi.
Thank you so much.
I feel so bad that Mayam
Good
is
morning.
Not here because, like,
Good morning.
we should have Mayam and Nima, Mayam and Mariah, because they are authors for now.
My little daughter, Kosi, who is
Uh-huh.
going to be presenting.
Yes, she is.
At the Akada Festival this Saturday.
Yes, that's fantastic.
Yes, so we'll be meeting you again this
Yes.
Saturday.
Oh, wow, what a small world.
Okay, so the thing is, we've had you on the show. Our children are... There are a lot of things influencing our children now. And it's important that we realize that these children are our future. What we do or don't do can make or mar them. Now, the Akada Festival, you're championing the cause for creating interesting and relevant content for children that would engage their minds positively. How has the response been since you've been doing this thing? Have you seen increase, or you're thinking like you're losing them to TikTok and social media?
So it's been fantastic. Once again, thank you ever so much for having me on your show. It's been fantastic. When we first started the Akara Children's Book Festival back in 2019, we were able to scrounge and find about 11 or so authors. But this year, we had more than 120-something books submitted for consideration by indigenous authors, whether in Nigeria or other parts of Africa or in the diaspora. So it's fantastic. That is the response, I would say. The children's book industry has bloomed over the last 5 years, COVID notwithstanding. So I'm very, very encouraged, because children love to read, but they need entertaining, relevant, interesting books to read. And it's not just academic books. We're very strong on academic books in our culture, in our environment. But we need to also understand that there is a place for storybooks, for picture books, for books read simply for pleasure, just for the fun of it.
Yeah, it's amazing. When I got the news that Kosisa will be presenting her book at the Akada Festival, it was Kosisa Chukwugbo is my first daughter. So she's 14 and she wrote a book, and it was submitted and was, you know,
Yes, it was
one of the ones I will be presenting on the panel. It was such a joy, like, wow. And when she was told she had to send in a video, it was like, Mommy, I'm going to be presenting on the panel. It was huge. Now, I know we've always had adult authors for children's book.
Yes.
How are you enjoying the fact that there are a lot of children who are now engaged on writing children's books?
Okay, so that's an excellent question, and I just want to qualify. The children's books are books written by adults for children. Children authors or child authors are authors who are young children who are also writers. The truth is that the best books for children are actually written by adults, because adults see a wider worldview and they can distill the information into 32 pages, which is the ideal number for a children's picture book. But it's really, really important to have young people encouraged. Young people that want to write, it is really important to encourage them, because they build, they grow, and they become the bestsellers, you know, of the future. So that's why we added something called the Young Authors Club and the Young Authors Panel. So authors who are under 18 who also send in their books for submission, we have a special segment for them, and we bring them together to talk on the main stage. So we have different locations in the festival. So this year, Young Authors Panel is going to be on the main stage, and they're going to talk about, you know, the host will interview them, and they'll talk about their book, why they write, what inspired them. And the idea is to encourage other children in the audience to also want to write.
Amazing, well done.
I am a subscriber to the Additionals Readland, and
Yes,
I read
fantastic
your book, but
people.
I have an idea of the kind of books I would like to influence children because of the power of influence of the kind of books I read as a child. And so when Sobi Goes to the Conservatory was given to my child, we visited the conservatory twice because she read it. And Mommy, I want to go there. And the other one was a baby, so when he was a bit older, we went again. And Miriam wrote a book, Picking Indigenous Names. That's the idea I want. I want kids to easily understand things, because local names, local languages, things common in our environment are the things. But you know, we read
Annie Blyton,
Ladybird
books.
And you know, so local things happening here.
Yes.
Miriam's book, all the names were from the North Central, where she's from, and you know, these things promoting.
Struggled to pronounce the name.
We got it the first time.
Explain to them that these are Nigerian names as well.
Yes,
that was
and you know, different tribes and all of that.
Yes.
How much more of such writing? Because you know, you do this festival every year, and the Akada book has gone wide, you know, far. How much more of this kind of writing that you see encourages our own local content, our indigenous languages, culture?
Yes.
Do you see writers doing now?
So this is why many of us started writing. We appreciate the fact that books come from all cultures, but there was a time when we were looking for children's books to read to toddlers, to our children. There were only so many that were based in Nigeria or written by Nigerian authors and things like that. Most of them were from abroad. And there's nothing wrong with that. There is a place for that. It's really good to always learn about other cultures. But you also need to learn about your culture and know what's going on in your backyard. Exactly. So that's why many of us just started writing, and it has grown and grown and grown. And so you have more people from different professions understanding the need to write about your experience, for example, as a presenter, and distill it into a children's book. because people want to know. So wherever I go, I always tell people, have you written a book? You know, write a book. Why don't you write a book? So many people that are presenting this year are first-time authors. Some of them are even like business corporate titans that you've heard of that are writing children's books. Wow. And it's not that they've given up their main job. It's just that they also understand the importance of writing things down. One author said there's a bedtime story that she always tells her children. And she just got the idea that, okay, let me just put this down formally, get an illustrator, and she's created a book, and we're showcasing it, you know, this year. So yes, we need to learn about culture, our culture, the different tribes in Nigeria, the different neighborhoods in Nigeria, the different foods. So with some of my books, I talk about Begiri, Amalai, Weju, and things like that. Yes, exactly. Instead of talking about burgers and chips and fries, not that there's anything wrong with burgers, chips and fries, I love them, but I also like Begiri, Amalai, and Weju. And I feel like our foods, our names, our neighborhoods also need a place in beautifully produced children's books. And that's what we try to do, and we also showcase books that do the same thing.
Because my kids, before they ever had, they were looking forward to having the Big Mac. And that was just because they saw it in a cartoon and they just felt like they had to eat it. But imagine if we're pushing our
influential.
YK?
No, just because I took my brother's kids abroad for the first time and they were all running to go to Starbucks. And why? When they got there, they tasted it. I said, you see, it's because of all this nonsense that you're doing.
And watching. And watching.
You're all thinking Starbucks
that it's something
it's
special.
Horrible. You see now? They say, come back and
drink our kunu, drink our zobo that are really nice and healthy.
Deserve stories, but all those things are vital and important and as equally valuable as foods from other culture. And that's what we're trying to get across, that look, what we have here is also good. We also have these fabulous recipes. Like there's a new book that I've done that came out this year, On the Water. It's like an eforiro recipe, right? Set in Makoko. So it's like bringing things to the light that we consider commonplace, ordinary, local, but they're really valuable and other people from other cultures are interested. Just as people like to go to a Chinese restaurant, why can't people want to go to a Nigerian restaurant? Yeah. You know, we just have to build ourselves up to that point where
share
people
our experiences
see us as, you know, as a valid option. Italian restaurant, French restaurant, Nigerian restaurant.
My granddaughter, Amala and Ewedu, she ate it, she finished it. I said, you're eating Amala. I don't love it.
But she ate it.
She finished it.
So, have you always known that you were going to do this?
No.
When did it start?
Okay, so my background is publishing, newspaper publishing to be specific, and I've written articles, you know, public commentary, public policy type articles that have been published in papers, etc. But it was when I became a mother that I now recognized the gap. And if you look at ACAIN, the Association of Children's Authors and Illustrators in Nigeria, you'll find that the majority of the members are women, majority of the members are mothers who, when they became mothers, they suddenly realized the need, the importance to read to their children. And when they were looking for books that were relevant to either their culture or their state, their religion or whatever, they couldn't find enough, so they started writing. So our story, there's a lot of commonality in our motivation for starting to write. And we continue because we see that the need is there. And again, I just want to repeat that I'm not saying there's anything wrong with books that come from other cultures. It's just that we also need more from our culture.
I should do something in this. I'm looking for a book.
Yes,
how to read and write in my language. I struggle to learn it in Lagos. Born here.
Do you want
where I am now?
your native
I want
language?
my kids in my native language.
Yes, why not?
The very original from where I'm from. Very important. My grandma.
I think we should. I think we should.
But
don't be surprised, right, if the reception is not what you expect, because people
the product available.
Available, fantastic.
I've checked. When we were at home for a while, I wanted to teach them to read, and I noticed that they're always on their devices.
Yes.
I wanted the content on YouTube, and I couldn't find
anything.
And they bothered me. So
Your language.
I'm worried about that.
But talking about you, you know, because we're bringing you in as a woman that we love. We want to know more about you, your journey. Your journey from being a publisher to now encouraging other people to publish to publish children-friendly content and children engaging content. And I wanted to share about the transition from core publishing into what I see now as a sort of advocacy, you know, and how do you put your business hat on when you're trying to advocate. It's because we're business people. Everybody here does business, and sometimes it's confusing because you want to just educate people, but then you're also a business person. You want to earn money from this thing. How do you find that balance?
So right now, I doubt if there are any children's authors who are making money, who are making their living So we all have to have another source of income, because otherwise we will be Gary and Kini every day. But it's something that most people do for passion until the time when the industry is robust enough to have enough to pay people. But as it is now, unfortunately, bookstores, I'm telling the truth, you don't pay authors. You collect the books and you hardly pay. Maybe there's like 3 or 4 that will actually pay you, but some others, they will just drag. So
that might be because of patronage also. So we
don't read, we don't buy books.
So we need it. Once the industry is more robust, then perhaps it could be something that people can do, combine. But yes, as a business person, it is extremely tough. It's extremely tough. The margins are razor thin. Illustrators are expensive, and then you have imported, books, which are cheaper, if you believe it or not. They come in, their landing costs are cheaper than books that we produce.
I know.
Here. So it's a really, really tough landscape. And if not for the fact that there's a cause or there's a reason behind it, most people, wouldn't do it. Or maybe people would do one and then just drop it. But when you start, you now see the hunger. The kids are saying, Auntie Bumi, when are you writing the next one? Auntie Bumi, are you going to write for teenagers? Are you going to, so you don't want to disappoint, so you keep writing.
So it's not really a business.
It's always good to, because
for now.
When my daughter was growing up, I bought her books all the time.
Yes.
So she grew up with that culture of reading.
Yes.
Because she was always, books that would interest them first. So I like that you are producing books that will interest the kids with the illustrations. Yeah, because that's the only way I'm getting my grandson, who is very hates reading.
Boys, I think it's common.
No, it's just to get them age-appropriate books with interesting illustrations and on a topic that they like. So, like for a family outing, you could go to a fabulous bookstore, like one of the good bookstores, like Roving Heights or even Skit Schools, right? They have a really lovely selection of books, and just let him pick, and then just see what he gravitates towards. And if the book he picks is a book of his favorite movie, just allow it, because the idea is to get him to start reading, and people, please don't dismiss the power of bedtime story time. I'm also a champion of bedtime stories, and I know when I first started, I was told, oh, that's an Oyinbo thing. We don't do that in Nigeria.
Can I film you saying this?
We can always record it.
I need to send it to my daughter.
Let's quickly talk about the change, because I noticed...
No, let her finish saying what she's saying now.
She's a fan of bedtime stories. And it's important.
Oh, yeah, talk about bedtime stories, please.
So bedtime stories are absolutely vital because they help children develop their communication skills, develop their confidence, and they also relax in the routine, knowing that mommy or daddy, no matter how busy you are, when you come home at the end of the day, you're going to give me that 5-10 minutes of your time and just read to me or listen to me read so you can gauge my reading level. And then the other reason why bedtime stories are so important is because it's a chance for you to get quiet with your child. Because the day has been busy, and the child wants to tell you something that happened at school or that happened in the house when you are not around. I'm so sorry. And the time that they have with you is an opportunity for them to tell you something that perhaps they didn't get a chance to tell you before, and it could be very, very important. So bedtime stories are not just an Oyinbo thing. I think that they are an all-people thing, and it honestly helps with building creativity, connection, cognitive skills, everything.
We used to have Tales by Moonlight.
Fantastic.
That was a form of bedtime story.
Culturally,
we used to
that's
gather
why they
around
call
the
it
fire.
Tales by Moonlight.
To
it was
tell
a night
stories before
story.
you go to bed.
Yeah.
Night stories.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was
Thank
when
you.
we're
So
not
you
in
see,
this
it's not
rush.
just an Oyinbo thing.
So I wanted you to tell me why they changed from Clever Books
to
Iwemi.
Yes.
And what are you working on again?
Okay. So it's to do with this thing about the business being tough to run.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we had to wind down Clever Clogs because it just was not paying for itself. It made absolutely no business sense whatsoever. It was becoming a bit ridiculous. So Iwemi is now just the platform through which I present my books. So any book that, and I changed the name to Iwemi, meaning my books in my language, Yoruba. So any book that I produce is presented on the platform called Iwemi My Books. And that's literally the sad story behind it. I didn't come here to tell you sad
So I didn't know that.
But I'm happy that you're not giving up.
No, no,
and I think that is important. I'm feeling very inspired to write about the topic I love and write it to my child. That's the, just by listening to you, that I want to write about financial intelligence to my child and teach my child about the importance of savings, and then I put it together for him. So I'd like you to tell us what you're working on a final note, and so that we round off.
Okay, so this year I released 3 books. Toby at the Art Gallery, which is my absolute favorite because it talks about all sorts of different types of African art. I should have bought copies to give you, or maybe I'll send it to you to give to your children.
Thank you.
And then there's On the Water, which is set in Makoko. Again, I visited the place and I was inspired by the sight of a supermarket on water. And I thought, this is fabulous. So I did a book about that. And many people were like, 1, they didn't know that there was an area where people lived on water. 2, that they had a supermarket on water. I'm like, well, there you go. This is the power of children's books. So it also showed the entrepreneurial side of young children. And of course, there's the Akara Children's Book Festival coming up on Saturday, to which I invite everyone. At the festival, we have book readings, we have storytime sessions. All the book readings, all the storytime sessions are completely free. You can just register, attend the festival. Am I allowed to say the website? akarafestival.org. Just come to the festival. We have workshops for parents, workshops for children, workshops for professionals. So if you want a fun family day out, just come to the festival. So that's what I'm
Just because you mentioned the website, I would have to send you invoice because even though it is free, but you're not actually, you know.
We're encouraging children to read.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for doing what you're doing. Thank you for passionately driving a course that is impacting on the next generation.
Thank you.
And I'm sure many people have been inspired to write. Nima is going to write a book about her language. We'll hold you accountable on that. She's going to write another one about being a lawyer. We'll hold you on that. You know? I'm giving you plenty of ideas. She's going to write about dancing.
Yes,
We're going to hold you on that.
Calm down.
Did I say I wanted to write while I was
I'm going to write about something, and we're all going to get writing. We're going to get reading.
All I can say is I'm going to buy your books.
All right, that's good enough too, so that it would
Thank you.
will fund the industry. Thank you all so much for joining us on the show. Thank you, Ma'am, and thank you, viewers. You can catch the replay. It's been a loaded conversation and a productive Wednesday so far. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye.
Bye.